Well, we had some
Yep.
shorties, we had some lefties, and the Calgary Flames overcame a lackluster first period and turned out a wildly entertaining match against the Buffalo Sabres tonight. 5-2 the final, thanks to a masterful performance on the penalty kill, 2 wins in a row, and Calgary has now won 6 of their last 10 games to gain some more wiggle room in that second playoff spot. Thanks for joining us on Afterburner. I'm Cami. He's Kent. For the regulars, you know the drill. Our Super Chat charity partner is Youth Centers of Calgary. And for our new friends, check out that Super Chat. You can hit the little $sign in the live chat there to make sure that your comment gets pinned, and we'll talk about it immediately. And it supports a great cause with Youth Centers of Calgary, a place where kids are welcomed and accepted as they are, a place where they get to have a break from the chronic stress that is the reality of many of their lives and flourish through connection and fun. Connection and fun, Kent. Oh my gosh. I think we thought that tonight was going to be all about Rory Cairns having his home debut, Clark Bishop making his Flames debut. No, Jacob Pelletier stole the show.
Big time. Yeah, it was kind of an ugly game until he got elevated, to tell you the truth. The first period, aside from the Huberdeau goal, was a paint dry period, I call. It's like I'd rather watch paint dry than this. And then the second period was pretty ugly, at least for the first 10 minutes. Like the Flames were getting run over. It was starting to look like one of those nights. And then Huska moves up Peltier, the first line gets going, and then it changed the entire tide of the game. That was definitely his best game, probably in his career. But he's been playing good hockey for weeks now, so good on him.
Shout out to Cal in the super chat. Hit the likes, buddies. You heard the man. Do it. Do it. You're so right about Jacob Pelletier. You look at the way that guy played tonight, and it's like, how could that player be the same guy who cleared waivers earlier this season? Yeah, we just saw so much energy from him. He ends up with a really solid stat line once he gets elevated. He started on the line with Clark Bishop and Ryan Lomberg, and he ends up scoring the game-winning goal and picks up an assist along the way as well on a pretty ugly Kadri goal. But I actually have a very hard-hitting question for you.
Oh, okay.
In terms of celebrations, do you prefer the Rasmus Anderson stare down or the Jacob Pelletier helmet smooch?
I still like the Anderson stare just because it's so intimidating for the other team, or at least their fans. So it's good trolling. I like that a little bit
I'm
more.
gonna go the opposite way. I think Pelletier is an Energizer bunny, and I think
he is.
It's just hilarious. He's almost like a human emoji. I don't know if you remember from the Summer Olympics a few years ago, the American gymnast Laurie Hernandez. He's like the male version of Laurie Hernandez, just everything written all over their faces. And it just brings up the energy level of people around you.
Yeah, it was, I think it was the last game where I commented. I was surprised he was on the fourth line. There was some thinking behind it. They didn't want Kuzmenko there. The fourth line had been struggling, but I thought he was one of the better players for the last couple weeks on the Flames, and to demote him to fix other problems didn't make a lot of sense to me. So I like to see him moved up and get rewarded for that too.
Absolutely. And it came at the benefit of 2 of the Flames' top paid players, the guys that you really rely on. We're going to start off with a Jonathan Huberdeau shorthanded breakaway goal. Let's roll that tape. Oh, heard it.
Oh, there it is. It was, he finished it properly. Good for him.
Yep, great stuff. Rasmus Dahlin there trying to stop the clearing attempt just outside the blue line, hops off his stick a little bit, and Huberdeau's gone. That's his second shorty of the season now, and he's still on pace to, obviously he's having his best goal scoring season as a Flame, but on pace to beat his previous career high of 30 goals in a season. So some pretty impressive stuff. Oh, hell yeah. Kevin Miller in the super chat there keeps looking more and more like Ray Donovan.
I'll take it.
We have to make that into an ad for Afterburner now whenever you're coming on, or get you a cutout or something.
Yeah, either one of those.
Yeah. That would be lovely. But after that shorthanded goal, it looked like things were starting to tilt towards the Sabres. They were all over the Flames to start the second period. That's where we saw Ulf Samuelsson look for a Beck Mallenstein, former Calgary Hitman tip, but deflected off of Rasmus Anderson's stick and in. And right after that, that's where we see Pelletier moved up to that top line. But then boom, Sabres take the lead for the first time just before the halfway point of the game. It's Samuelsson buzzing again. And that time, they only beat Dustin Wolf with deflections. Dustin Wolf was really solid tonight. There wasn't really much he could do about the goals that got past him. One tipped off his own defenseman. And the second time, you could see Tage Thompson calling specifically for that shot. I don't think we've seen that very often where he's got the stick up calling, looking for the tip, and they get it. That's some precision work by the Sabres, but little did they know that Kadri was coming in to hit Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen with one of the uglier goals of the season. I don't know if we can see that one here, but Jacob Pelletier started off the play. He found Huberdeau with a really nice stretch pass. He pulls up to hit the trailing Kadri, weaves in and out, and I thought Luukkonen stopped it at first, but he kind of kept tracking back, and that puck just slipped through.
Yeah, it was like it some sort of magnetic pull through his legs. It was pretty strange, actually. I was going to be extremely angry if that didn't go in, though, because Peltier's wide open on the side, and Kadri he takes the shot instead. But it went in, so can't say anything.
It's almost like I just like I was sick last week, so I just binged The Sopranos again, and it reminds me of like the kiss of death. Kadri is a marked man now. What's he marked for? The back of the damn net. And yeah, Kadri, 16th of the season, ties it, takes us to the third. That's where Pelletier gets the go-ahead, but no one is there to kiss his helmet. Alas. What really impressed me about Pelletier's goal was that he was holding his own against Owen Power in front of that net. He was not going to budge. Owen Power is 6'6". Jacob Pelletier is 5'11", generously.
Yeah, I don't think he actually is 5'11", 5'9", if you eyeball it. But yeah, good on him. I mean, he definitely has come in and solidified himself as an NHL player. Back when he was struggling, you saw how tentative he was, and it was especially after all those injuries that he had. He was playing safe. He was not very involved, and there's no way he was going to make the NHL like that. But he went down. He's come back up. He cleared waivers, and he seems to have used that as motivation. And he is not just an NHL player; he's a good NHL player right now, which is a huge boon for this organization.
Yep, and I don't know, are we going to see the Pelletier goal right now? Heck yeah, let's take a look.
9-18 or something. So
yeah, the shots were brutal for a while there.
For a while, yeah.
Wolf actually did, I think, his best work in probably the last 10 minutes of the game. Again, we've praised the Flames penalty kill tonight, but they took really untimely penalties. There were 2 delay of games in the last couple minutes with Kadri and Miramanov going to the box, and Wolf had some really impressive saves. There was one on JJ Paterka where he was he had a shot coming in from low, and he put it high, and that's typically where you see teams try to pick off Dustin Wolf. And I think he took it off the mask, and then he was able to grab the rebound. So like Wolf he didn't need to be lights out all night, but he was big when they needed him.
He had that sliding glove save too, which I'm sure will be on a lot of highlight shows tonight. So yeah, he just keeps doing it.
Yeah, just extending the old highlight reel. And then closing out the goals as Kadri stepping out of the penalty box, Sharon Govich cleans up a Huberdeau shot. I don't know. It looked like it might have been going wide. I didn't watch the replay that closely.
I think that was going in, but take the goal if you can, especially for Sharon Govich this year. Yeah,
sharing the wealth. And then finally, it was just a really fun, wild 5 minutes. And then we all got slapped with the emotions. Michael Backlund closes it out with the empty netter, his 210th career goal, which ties him with Johnny Gaudreau for 9th on the all-time Flames goals list. Just like, oh.
Yeah, Gaudreau did it in a lot less time, of course, but yeah.
It speaks to how impressive Johnny was. I mean, there aren't very many numbers that don't support how fantastic Gaudreau was with the Flames. It was just an unexpected wave of emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now Backlund, 2 goals, I believe, behind Sean Monahan to continue moving up that list. But that's the scoring for tonight. And before we hit you with the real heat, a reminder to if you're not partaking in dry January, if you're just having a moist January or a normal January, check out Afterburner Pale Ale. Origin Malt and Brewing Company uses barley grown on the local family farm to offer a truly sustainable grain-to-glass experience. That's 5 generations of farming, meaning that you're not only getting very intentionally chosen ingredients, but the roots that run deep in the community, which we love around here. It's about blending tradition and innovation for a unique experience that proudly celebrates Alberta farms. And it tastes really good. So ask for Origin Malt and Brewing products at your local liquor stores, your favorite pubs, restaurants. And if they don't have it, if you bug them enough, hey, they might just bring it in. And that will whet our palates for a really fun fight. Did Peyton Krebs forget that Mackenzie Weegar is a southpaw?
I don't think everyone looks at fight tape before they get into bouts in this league. So yeah, he caught it right off the bat.
Krebs definitely wasn't ready for that. Here goes up ice.
So what was just missed? Go nice and high, clip him up a bit, and that kind of sparked the Weegar reaction. But that was a good fight on Weegar's part. Krebs had been around it. He was pissing guys off all night. Quinn went after Huberdeau earlier in the game, and then we saw Huberdeau, kind of get into the Sabres bench trying to get a piece of him, and Krebs was the one who stepped up there. But, Weegar has like a solid half dozen NHL fights, and another person who forgot that Weegar's a lefty, Kadri.
That's right.
They fought
before they were on the same team, but
yeah. This is when Kadri was on the Avalanche. It was 2019, 2020, I think. But yeah, Weegar kind of worked Kadri in that one. So the man can fight. We learned this.
Yeah, I don't think Krebs can, so you should probably cut that out.
You don't know what he can do when he knows what's coming.
Yeah.
Cal, yeah, how about that PK lately? Very good indeed. It was the difference maker for the Flames tonight. They held the Sabres 0 for 6 and obviously had that shorthanded goal from Huberdeau. Ugh. If only him and Krebs actually dropped the mitts, he would have had the Gordie Howe.
And they had more looks than that, right? There was other odd man rushes and all sorts of stuff on the PK. So it was consistently dangerous in the right way, in the good way for Calgary. So yeah, that's one of the stronger PK performances we've seen this season because it's mostly been atrocious up until recently.
Yeah, I think to your point, probably on more than half of the Sabres power plays, there was an odd man rush the other way for the Flames. I'm thinking in particular of a Backlund one where it's like, you should have just shot it on the 2-on-1 with Coleman. Oh.
Yeah, alas.
But yeah, we mentioned it a little earlier in the night, but it was the Flames debut for Clark Bishop. Fresh off
not much of one. Yeah, he got sat for the whole third period. So
yeah, we didn't see
good for him, but
from him.
Yeah, he didn't get much of a look.
Yeah, exciting for him though. It's his first NHL game since February 15th, 2022. That's more than 1,000 days between games. His family was in town. I believe him and his wife just welcomed a baby a few weeks ago. And well-deserving. He had 33 points in 39 games with the Wranglers. He was a fixture on special teams in the AHL, and Calgary does have the second best power play in the Pacific Division. So I think there was like some hope that maybe we would see a little bit of what Clark Bishop could do in a special teams role with the Flames. He didn't get any looks there. He only had actually 5:26 of ice time. He did get a shot away. Won 2 of his 3 faceoffs, which I think was the other spot where people were really intrigued to see him. But with the schedule ahead, I don't know if there are going to be many easier opportunities to work him in.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they keep him after a night like that. You need your fourth line to play more than 5 minutes in a game. You can do nights like this sometimes when you're off to a slow start and you got to sit guys to win, but we'll see. Maybe Dryden Hunt gets the next call up or somebody else, but yeah, I'd be surprised if we see much more of him, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, which is a shame. I don't know if he's particularly the reason why that line wasn't getting more time. A little more insult to injury for the Flames. Walker Dewar scored his first goal for the San Jose Sharks tonight. It's 5-5 as we're chatting right now with about 20 seconds left in the second period with the Sharks taking on Nashville. Hey, we'll always remember the heater that Dewar had when he was here.
Yep, he's going to be a star. Look at that. Scoring a 1.5 points per game right now. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. And Cal is out here helping out YCC every way he can. Kent, we're going to get you to rebrand as Mike for a second here. What are your thoughts on that fourth line not playing much in the third? Was it Bishop?
It wasn't even the fourth line. Like, they sat Cairns, Kuzmenko, and Bishop. They flipped a bunch of guys, and Huska just sat the 3 guys he thought weren't going to help the team much through the rest of the game, right? So Bishop, is a replacement level player from the AHL, and when nights go like this, especially when they start the way they did for the Flames, he's going to be the first guy to get sat, unfortunately. And then Kuzmenko, we know what Huska thinks of Kuzmenko at this point. And again, Cairns is, another young guy. He's played well up until now, but finding his legs, and if the coach wants to play all the veterans he trusts, then, it doesn't surprise me all 3 of those guys got sat. So it's probably not on Bishop, but that's kind of his role as sort of an AHL journeyman at this point.
Yep, you bet. 28 years old now, made his NHL debut with the Hurricanes, played twice against Calgary when he was with Ottawa. I think that was during the bubble season. So that is what we saw from Clark Bishop. Now, we mentioned that we kind of hope that we might see a little bit of what he could do from the face-off dot. Calgary did a lot of things well tonight. Face-offs were not one of them. It ends up 61% in favor of the Sabres. I think it was something like 68 midway through the game. What other options would you like to see Calgary toy with?
Let's see if Dustin Wolf can take a face-off, because he can do almost everything else pretty well. So there's really nothing the team can do. I mean, it didn't help the Sabres tonight, so whatever. It's just it's going to be a work in progress. The team's going to get younger, probably down the middle over time here, and you hope you get better. You practice it, and you get Conroy out of the executive suite and get him down on the ice so that he can teach people. It's just the type of thing that, you try to get better at, and that's all you can do.
Fair enough. I bet Dustin Wolf could do it. He's doing everything else exceptionally well. Coming into tonight, he was averaging 30.5 shots against per game, which is quite staggering. He ends up facing 34 tonight, makes 32 saves. That's a .941 save percentage. He's just continuing to be the MVP of this team. Again, like 5th in league save percentage, 5-2-0 in January. It's pretty staggering numbers. His save percentage is even better than that. It's got to be up over .940 at home now.
And it would have been better tonight if his own defenseman didn't do a really good tip past him. So if the Flames do make the playoffs, he has to win the Calder. I mean, I know goalies usually don't win Calder trophies. It's pretty rare because, skaters with the Calder with rookies, skaters get compared to other rookies, and then goalies get compared to every other goalie in the league, which is kind of unfair if you think about it. But he will be the team's MVP, and he will be the reason they make the playoffs if it happens. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can make it work.
Yeah, you mentioned goalies not winning the Calder very much. I would love to see the Calder sometimes weighted more on the impact that player had on their team, because sometimes it feels like that's not always necessarily taken into consideration. And if we look at the last goalie to win the Calder, which is Steve Mason in 08-09 with the Columbus Blue Jackets, which, by the way, had prime Rick Nash on it.
That's right. Yeah, it did.
Who's a superstar on the Flames right now? Jeez. But when you look at it, Wolf's, some of his numbers are actually better than Mason's. Mason had it was about 2.3 goals against average, a .916 save percentage. Wolf is up and at that. The problem is Steve Mason had 10 shutouts.
That was the run of Steve Mason's life too. Like, I don't think he ever did that again, right? So we'll see how many shutouts Wolf can get by the end of the year. But yeah, he's got to be in the conversation right now. And if he continues this, and as I said, if the Flames are a playoff team because of him, I mean, it should be, in my eyes, a shoe-in. But we'll see.
I mean, how many goaltenders don't see a shutout all season? Wolf has 2, one coming against the reigning Stanley Cup champions. There are not enough good things to say about Dustin Wolf. And even in some of the toughest moments of the game, you see him laughing and having fun. And I can't believe when he goes into a butterfly, he can fit inside the net.
Yeah, it's one thing he reminds me of is Kiprusoff, who was really good at the mental aspects of the game. He was just sort of icy cold, right? And stuff happened he didn't like, he couldn't tell. Stuff happened that was good, just kind of stood there. It's kind of what you need, a super even keel for goaltending, because it's such a tough position.
And want to shout out Team Tank. If there's anyone from Team Tank in the chat, let us know how you're feeling, because I think
I'm Team Tank.
You're Team Tank? All right. So I'm curious, how do you feel about it when you're going up against a team like Buffalo that just shows you how wrong a full teardown can go? Like if we go back to like the last time they won a playoff series, I hadn't hit puberty the last time they won a playoff series. I did not drive the last time they made playoffs. And there's similarities between these teams. I'd look at, they had Sam Reinhart and Jack Eichel, and you tear them away or trade them away, and they play their best hockey and win Stanley Cups elsewhere. Calgary did the same with Sam Bennett. Buffalo has had so many high-end picks, 2 first overall picks in Power and Deline, and they just can't put it together. Doesn't that give people pause on Team Tank when they want Calgary to go that way?
So I'll say I'm Team Tank, but I'm not the person who's like, oh, they can't make the playoffs this year. They got to trade people and kill the team. Like, I'm not quite that maximalist to that degree, but I would say rebuilding is a lot like almost anything else in the NHL, or even, let's make a deeper analogy, baking. Like, you have to do it right. Rebuilding is definitely tough, and tearing down means you have to build it back up again. But you can have incompetent organizations do it poorly, right? Until they get it right. I mean, the Edmonton Oilers, how many first round picks did they go through until they got McDavid? How many GMs and coaches did they get through to get to the point that they are now, right? So it's the problem with rebuilding or even building in the NHL is you can do it, but you can do it well and you can do it really poorly. And some teams who are rebuilding were poorly run, which is why they stunk in the first place, and continue to be poorly run while they're trying to rebuild. So the issue is, when you're doing anything, there's levels of execution, and we've seen poor execution, I think, with Buffalo.
I remember ahead of the 2011-2012 season, I thought Buffalo was going to be so nasty when they got Christian Ehrhoff.
Yeah, not so much.
Yep, didn't happen. Oh, you guys are coming through with a super chat tonight. You're all the best. Cal, Kent, not Mike. This is or is not the assistant of the barn burner blonde. Sorry, buddy. Thanks for responsibly enjoying Origin Brewing products. You're the best. And Mitchell, ooh, here's a spicy one for you, Kent. Bring in Taves on a 1-year deal to teach our young centers how to play two-way and win face-offs. Wolf is the man. Hubie looked great. Kadri and Pelts, too. I think this is part of the importance of hanging on to players like Kadri and I'd say just as much Blake Coleman. When you talk about doing a rebuild right, those are the kind of guys that you want to have around to guide those younger players.
Yeah, I don't. The Taves thing. How long has he been out of hockey now? It's a while, right? And how old is he? You look that up for me. He's in his mid-30s, right? Like I don't
He's
know
a
how.
sprightly 36.
Right. And when did he last play?
22, 23.
Oh, so it's been a couple years. I don't know how
season.
NHL fit that guy would be at this point. And you do need to be able to play at the NHL level if you're signing as a player. Maybe you can sign that guy as a coach at some point. It doesn't count against your cap at all. It's not, but maybe he is game speed. Who knows? But yeah, that would be my only worry about bringing a player like that on. Like, can he actually play still? Nobody really knows, I would imagine. But I also don't know what kind of guy he is in the locker room. He was supposedly really good in Chicago. A lot of terrible things happened in Chicago while he was there too. So it's not something I would fully endorse if it happened. I don't think I would curse it either. But yeah.
Yeah. Gonna put that one in unlikely / probably
unlikely.
Yeah. Unlikely / not the world's greatest idea. Oof. So we're going to turn our attention to the road ahead, a segment brought to us by Platinum Mitsubishi, family owned and operated by lifelong Calgarians. And you don't actually see that much anymore. They've got the best warranty in the business at 10 years, lease and finance rates starting at 0.99%. You can check out the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, Canada's best-selling plug-in hybrid SUV, and they are at 2720 Barlow Trail Northeast. So this kicks off a pretty grueling stretch for the Flames. What is it? 3 games in 4 nights coming up, including tough road back-to-backs against some pretty tough teams in the Central Division. Saturday, they've got Minnesota. The Wild were getting rinsed by Utah. It was 4-0 the last time I checked the score. Let's see what it actually, ended up 4-0. Calgary did beat Minnesota in a shootout. I think that was a Rasmus Anderson shootout winner back in November. But remember, Kaprizov did not play that game, and he is back in the mix now. And Sunday, turning right back around to Winnipeg. Calgary got the win last time out, but they don't necessarily think they outplayed them. Wolf made 38 saves in that one season series, tied 1-1. Winnipeg's hosting Utah tomorrow. Jets are second over on the league, and look at that. It's first in the league up after that. Home to host Ovechkin and the Capitals. Washington is in Seattle tonight. So entering the evening, Ovechkin has... They're winning. Did he... let's see if he got some more goals.
He scored. Yeah.
Did he? Okay, so that would be 875, so 20 goals away from breaking Gretzky's record. Would be nice to see Calgary delay that milestone a little bit.
Nobody has explained to me how Washington is suddenly great again. Like they look like they were on a very steep sort of downward curve, and all of a sudden, best team in the league. Like I don't understand what they did over the summer.
Don't even say great again to me for the next 4 years. Ugh. Okay, so after that, Ducks on Thursday. Second time this month, they're going to see each other. Anaheim, still a basement dweller. Huberdeau got the OT winner back on the 7th, and they're going to close out that homestand by hosting the Red Wings. So we always love when Original Six team comes to town, and after that, 4 more games until the break for 4 nations. So 7 of the next 10 are at home, and that's where typically Calgary does their best work. So this is going to be pretty big for them in the grand scheme of the playoff picture.
Yep, they could really start solidifying themselves, especially with Vancouver not playing very well right now. And I think who is it, Vancouver and St. Louis who are chasing them?
Yeah, so Calgary now has like a little more wiggle room against the Canucks and the Blues. Vancouver and St. Louis both have 50 points. Calgary's up to 53, and they've got some games in hand as well.
All right. Anaheim smoking Pittsburgh tonight, by the way, 5-1. That's surprising.
Oh, yeesh.
Yeah.
And a wild Ryan Pinder. Oh, geez, the gang's all here.
Oh, they're actually in studio.
Some Afterburner pale ale wafting into the room. Oh, some lovely stuff there. All right, now we're going to take a look at Bet365 after the road ahead. Oh, no. We're going to wait. Oh,
what's happening?
The camera. The cooler's being raided.
Ah! What is it?
Cameo. I don't know if anyone can ever tell. Like, next time you're watching Barn Burner or we have someone in the second chair here, take a look at that fridge and you'll see that all the cans are pushed to the front, but it's looking pretty empty behind them. I think we're going to need a refill here pretty soon.
Is he the fridge refiller?
I don't know if anyone's designated for that. It's the same person who cleans the bathroom. Doesn't exist. I'm really happy that they took the towel out of there. Now there's just paper towel. I don't think that thing ever got washed either.
Oh,
anyway, that's our road ahead. Now, I know you took a look at Bet365 to see what's going on tomorrow. Bet365 helps us keep the lights on here. They're the world's largest sports betting platform. You can open an account today and bet on a huge range of markets. You download the app today and use the code NATION up there on the screen. You know it, you love it. And whatever the sport, whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365. What did you see out there tonight, Kent?
This is for tomorrow. Not a lot, really. If you look at that, I don't know if anything really jumps out on anyone. Maybe the over, Tampa Bay and Chicago. Yeah, that's Utah, Winnipeg, Vegas, and Dallas will be a close match. I wouldn't bet on that one either way. But yeah, I could see Tampa Bay lighting up Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to bet the under or the over with Utah and Winnipeg. That one could go. I feel like Utah's going to get no goals and Winnipeg will get all the goals.
Yep, that could be an under, I think, maybe. But yeah, it's go with the Tampa Bay game, I think.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a market that we should be able to bet on, I don't know if we can. Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament is coming up January 23rd to the 25th on Lake Mildred. Oilers Nation, Flames Nation. Those Oilers had a interesting night. We're going to chat about it in a second here. But Booster Juice, a proud partner of this one. Honestly, my go-to. All day, every day. Fueled by Booster Juice, you can download the new Booster Rewards app today to start earning berry points for delicious and nutritious smoothies, drinks, and food that will get you through the day. Actually, I know this is weird, but I really like that they do tart smoothies. I don't like things that are really sweet. They got a lot of pomegranate stuff.
How many berry points do you have?
Too many. Vitamin C through the roof. Scurvy, not here.
There you go.
$12 orange juice, that's the play. All right, I don't know if the mic picked that up. Apparently, that's the key to survival for these degenerates that just rolled in here.
Expensive orange juice?
Yeah, and they're going to be keeping the smoothies nice and chilly in their Yetis. Yeti's helping out too, keeping the cold drinks crispy and the hot drinks toasty for the tourney and Jasper. Crave the cold and extend your ice time with hard-hitting gear that's built to honor the toughest sport on earth. Before we get to our thoughts, questions, and concerns, we got a couple more super chats. Cal, I don't know if you heard that. The orange juice from Booster Juice is what cures the hangover. Seems like you might have been imbibing a bit tonight, buddy. That might help you out tomorrow. And Mitchell, I know we ain't getting a superstar in Taves. I mean more as a mentor. Dude knows hockey, how to win draws, how to win. Obviously has to be ready to play this year. Yeah, I think as Kent mentioned earlier, maybe like not even as a player. That's where you kind of see some of those like former stars come in like an advisory role. But another thing for a lot of those guys is like, is it too close for you? Is it too recent? Because I think at any level of hockey, when you see guys who have recently had to kind of like call their on ice career, it can be difficult and kind of sad and heartbreaking to be around the game you love and know that you're not competing at that level anymore. But I think certainly we'll see Jonathan Taves in a role of that kind down the road.
Yeah. I think we missed one there, didn't we?
Did we? We got Pinner needs to go to bed. We got Mitchell, I think. Yeah. Who kisses Pelts when he scores? That's a great question. Although I'm a little concerned that when he hits the town now, there's probably going to be like some overzealous fan that tries to plant one on his forehead.
Well, if they continue the Cinderella story and they do some sort of Red Mile, absolutely.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, so taking a look at that final up the road there, 6-2 for the Oilers.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Connor Garland, public enemy number one.
It's getting ugly in Vancouver. I love it.
It's always ugly there. And now they're giving Thatcher Demko the Roberto Luongo treatment.
Yeah, he's not terribly popular right now.
Not happening. But I think we talked about this early in January when Calgary was just biting the edge of playoffs. Like it was going to take Vancouver opening the door a little bit for them, and they've just swung it wide open the last couple of weeks here.
And they still haven't, gotten rid of this Miller versus Patterson beef. Like it's still going on. There's still rumors. It's like,
no, it's building.
Maybe you should fix that. Yeah, it just keeps making it worse. And as they continue to lose, that's just going to be fuel to the fire. So I'm really surprised that hasn't been rectified yet.
Well, it seemed like they had hit a breaking point with Buffalo snagging that comeback win over them earlier in the weekend. It seemed like he was at a bit of loss for answers, and they turned out a much worse game.
Yeah,
which all Alberta hockey fans are having a blast with.
Yep, love it.
Yeah. All right. So before we wrap it up here, let's get to a couple thoughts, questions, and concerns. What do you have for us, Yasmin? Oh, Wolfie for Calder. The dude is in a zone.
Yep.
I think this is going to be their story of the rest of the season. A couple more shutouts, and how could you deny him? I'd say he's getting a nom at the very least.
Yeah.
Is that degenerate Warner also in the studio raiding the fridge? No, I think Rhett actually made it to bedtime tonight. Vladdy versus Wild, Wolf versus Jets. Could this be where we see Dan Vladar break his curse of playing the second half of the back-to-back?
That would make sense. We'll see. Fingers crossed for the guy. But the way Wolf's playing, it's his net now.
Let him have the reins. And I don't know, I think Winnipeg would probably be itching for a second swing at Wolf after he made, more than 30 stops against them to really steal that win over the weekend. It'll be interesting to see, but you don't want Dan Vladar to get too rusty on the flip side of that, for sure.
No. Yeah.
All right. Got 3 more here. Milk, any news on Zeri return? It seems like there's been really positive stuff coming up about that. The Flames held their annual poker tournament this week, which actually raised a record-breaking amount of money for them. And Eric Francis was reporting tonight that he was there without a brace on.
Oh, nice.
At least one that you could see.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like
No
the big
surgery.
scary brace, and then there's like the little compression brace that you see a
Under
lot
your
of
pants.
Yeah. So who knows? But guy is up and walking. Got to take that as a positive sign.
Yeah, it's not the surgery. This is going to take 3 months, sort of thing. So obviously they'll take. I haven't heard that he's day to day or anything, but it's definitely he'll be back this season, which will be nice.
All right, we got 3 more here, and we're gonna wrap it up. Kent, what are we doing for the trade deadline?
That's a good question. Yeah, did we do anything for? No, I don't think we did anything last year, but we'll see if there'll be a show that we could appear on, or at the very least, I work from home all the time, so I can watch the whole thing on my other monitor right here. So I'm my own boss. So.
And I'll buzz to the studio because my home internet sucks, and y'all let me know it last time.
Yeah, that was a little rough.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know what to do. I'm getting the
gotta
text
roll
on the
with it,
Afterburner
right?
being like, your audio sucks. I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah, it does. We're stuck with it.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's go to Ken. Since it looks like Wolf is going to play Calgary out of the bottom 10, should Conroy weaponize the cap to get back a first-round pick? Calgary has $42 million in cap savings.
Yeah, this is where I am the rebuild max person. It's like whatever happens this year, I don't think Conroy should be changing his long-term plan very much at all. Like a lot of what was true about the Flames when they started this season are still true now. Like you definitely seem to have a superstar goalie, or at least a star starting goalie on your hands, which is great. It's a nice pillar to a rebuild, but you don't have a lot of the things you need to be a contender still. And you still have a lot of vets that are eventually going to age out in the next 1 to 3 seasons, right? So you still need that number one center. You still probably need a couple more wingers. You probably need a couple more centers, honestly, even if
I'm
Zeri
more
continues to
concerned
develop.
about finding at least anyone with a right shot.
Yeah, and you've got a pretty good defensive prospect system right now. You can always add more, but yeah, they're still very thin up front, and they're still going to have a lot of what are highly functional vets aging out of the system very soon in the next sort of 5 years, which you want to become your contention window. So there's still a lot of work to do, and yeah, if you can weaponize all the cap space that you have to get more futures, definitely do it.
Yeah, it's almost like right now, it's like fans are kind of set up for Find Away Flames 2.0, where they're just going to get, drug into the first round of playoffs, maybe eke out that first round win. I remember when that happened in 2015 when they beat the Canucks in round 1. I think a lot of people have kind of said now that the Flames management thought that they were further ahead in the rebuild than they were. And it kind of led to the stumble that we're still kind of feeling the reverberations from now. So be interested to see what happens if the Flames are in the same situation and Craig Conroy decides, no, we're going to stay on track here.
Yep.
And we're going to wrap it up with Brady. Did Wolf just gain more votes for the Calder and turn some heads for consideration for the Hart? Ooh,
I don't think that'll happen, but that's
lofty.
It's not a bad argument given, as we said, he will be probably the most important player on this team if they continue to defy expectations the way they are. So, I mean, if he continues to be one of the best goalies in the league, there's also a Vezina consideration. I wouldn't say he's going to win that either. I think Hellebuck probably has that sewn up, but
even a nomination would be lovely.
Nomination, yeah, and
a nice.
I think he is the best goalie on home ice right now in the league, right? So It is quite the season, and there's lots of games left. You shouldn't count your chickens or anything, but it's been an incredible run for him.
Yeah, it's been impressive. There is also some precedent for goalies winning the Hart. You don't have to go back too far to Carey Price getting it. I think Jose Theodore won it. Hasek had a couple back in the day.
Yeah, Theodore won it, and he shouldn't have, but it does happen.
All right, coming through with the opinions.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Cal, since you're being so generous helping out youth centers Calgary tonight, do you think we get any trades in the works for a center before the deadline? I mean, if you're looking for something, that's what it would be. But what is that price tag going to be right now? And what age are you looking at? I just don't know if that fits into the plans now. I think most teams would prefer to draft that number one center and bring them up through their system. But
there's
also some real good centers coming up through the NHL draft this year. A lot of
next couple
all
of years,
ones too.
Yeah, there's just not a lot available. There's the Dylan Cousins of the world.
Who I didn't think made a huge impression tonight.
Yeah, he was fine, and his numbers are fine, except for his cap hit, which is like $7 million. He's right-handed, he's big, he has that draft pedigree, but he's only put together one noteworthy season, and this season is not at all, which is why they would be interested in shopping him. But I don't think they're going to give him away.
The next Reinhardt, Bennett.
I don't know.
Trade him away and just pops off.
And that would be the hope if you're Calgary or anyone else getting him. But like right now, all of his results are scream third liner. And yeah, I don't think if you get Cousins, he's suddenly going to become a first liner on the Calgary Flames, right? Let alone a superstar center. So you could look at maybe a McTavish. It sounds like he's kind of having a bad time in Anaheim right now. But there's just those players are so very rare that come up and do move like the Eichels, and they turn out to be superstars. But you knew Eichel was a star before he left. That was like a lover's spat. That's the reason he left Buffalo. It wasn't because he was really disappointing in any way, the player at least.
Yeah, I know. I hope someone pumped I'm coming out as he left that facility for the first time to take control of his body. You go, Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap it up there. The Flames are back at it on Saturday against the Minnesota Wild. It's Jacob Pelletier night in Calgary, a 5-2 win over the Buffalo Sabres. We're going to go join Pinder for a beer now. Have a lovely night, everybody.
Enjoy.